Welcome to Bethel Online Education Hub. Learn anytime, anywhere. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Let's learn together, the Bethel way.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to Earth and Life Science, where we explore our planet and life it holds. Now, let's start. Have you ever stood on the beach and watched the waves crash on the shore? Or notice how the coastline seems to change over time? These movements are not random. They are part of powerful natural system constantly shaping our planet. In this lesson, we will explore the fascinating marine and coastal process that influence our ocean and shorelines, from the movement of waves, tides, and currents to the gradual reshaping of land through erosion and deposition. This process play a key role in Earth's dynamic system. By understanding how these forces works, help us recognize how coastal landscape form, how human activities and natural forces interact, and why it is important to protect these vulnerable areas. Whether it's beach erosion, storm surge, flooding, or rising sea levels. Marine and coastal process have a direct impact on ecosystem, communities, and our way of life. Now, let's dive in and discover how the ocean shapes the land and our future. The ocean is constantly shaping the land through waves, tides, sea level changes, crustal movement, and storm surge. This marine and coastal process can lead to erosion, flooding, and saltwater intrusion, especially in low-lying coastal communities. Understanding these hazards is essential for living near coastal lands. Marine and coastal process refer to the natural movement and action of ocean water, such as waves, tides, and currents, that shape coastal landscape and influence life along the shorelines. This process play a major role in coastal erosion, sediments deposition, beach formation, and even flooding or saltwater intrusion in low-lying coastal areas. Major marine and coastal processes. First, we have the waves. Waves are one of the most visible and powerful marine processes that shape our coastline. They are created when wind blows across the surface of the sea, transferring energy from the atmosphere to the water. The stronger and the longer the wind blow, the bigger and the more powerful the waves become. Waves play a crucial role in coastal erosion, transportation, and deposition of sediments. As they approach the shore, waves can erode rock formation and cliff, break down sediments, and move sands and pebbles along the coast through the process called longshore drift. This movement constantly reshaping beaches, build up sandbars, and forms coastal landforms like spit and lagoons. While waves are essential in shaping coastlines, they, they can also be highly destructive, especially during storms or typhoons. Strong waves can cause severe beach erosion, damage coastal structures, and flood low-lying areas and endanger lives and property. Next, we have tides. Tides are daily rise and fall of sea levels, mainly caused by the gravitational pull of the moon and to a lesser extent the sun. As the earth rotates, different areas experience high and low tides depending on their position relative to the moon and sun. Tides are regular and predictable, but their effects on coastal areas can be significant. They influence coastal flooding, fishing, fishing activities, and navigation. For example, fishermen often plan their trip according to the tidal schedule to ensure better catches, while ship needs to consider tides when entering or leaving ports to avoid running running aground. During extreme weather events like storm or typhoons, high tides can intensify storm surges, leading to more severe coastal flooding and greater damage to properties and ecosystem along the shoreline. The third is the ocean current. Ocean current are large scale movement of sea water that flows continuously through the world's oceans. They are driven by a combination of wind pattern, differences in water temperature and salinity, and the rotation of the earth or Coriolis effects. Current can be surface current, which are primarily influenced by wind or deep water currents, which are caused by differences in water density due to temperature and salinity. Together, they form a global conveyor's belt that helps regulate Earth's climate and distribute heat and nutrients throughout the oceans. Along coastlines, ocean currents play a major role in shaping the coastal landscape. They transport sands, sediments, and other minerals, leading to a gradual erosion of some areas and building up others. Over time, this movement can change the shape of beaches, form sandbars, and influence the development of coastal landforms. Currents also impact marine life, navigation, and climate, making them a vital part of both the ocean system and human activity. The fourth is the sea level changes. Sea level changes refer to the long-term rise or fall of the ocean's surface, caused by factors such as climate change, melting glacier and ice sheets, thermal expansion of seawater, and geological processes like the uplift or subsidence. In recent decades, global sea levels have been rising, largely due to global warming. As a temperature increase, ice melts from the polar regions and mountain glaciers, adding more water to the oceans, and additionally, warmer water expands further contributing to the sea level rise. Rising sea level pose serious threat to low-lying coastal area as they increase the risk of flooding, coastal erosion, saltwater intrusion into freshwater sources, and habitat loss. for both human and wildlife. They also worsen the impact of storm surge, making typhoon and other coastal hazards more dangerous and destructive. Monitoring and understanding sea level changes are essential for disaster risk reduction, urban planning, and protecting vulnerable communities and ecosystem along the coast. The last is the storm surge. Storm surge are the abnormal and sudden rise of seawater that occurs during tropical cyclones, typhoons, or intense storms. This rise, this rise is primarily caused by strong wind pushing seawater towards the shore, combining with low atmospheric pressure that allows the sea level to rise higher than normal. Storm surge can lead to severe coastal flooding, especially when they occurring during high tide. This combination can inundate large areas of land, damage homes and infrastructure, destroy crops, and contaminate fresh water sources, and disrupt transportation and communication system. In many coastal communities, storm surge are one of the deadliest and most destructive hazards, often resulting in significant property damage and tragically loss of lives. Their impact is made worse by rising sea levels, which gives storm surge a higher starting point and make flooding even more widespread. Understanding how storm surge works is vital for disaster preparedness, evacuation, planning, and coastal defense strategies to protect lives and livelihoods. Now that we talk about the major marine and coastal processes, which waves, tides, ocean currents, sea level changes, and storm surge. Now let's move on to the next part of our lesson, the hazard and effects caused by these powerful natural forces. While these processes help our coastline and support marine ecosystem, they can also bring serious dangers when they become intense or unbalanced, from coastal erosion to submersion and saltwater intrusion. These hazards can greatly affect both people and the environment. Let's take a closer look at the different hazards caused by coastal processes, how they occur, and why it is important to understand and prepare for them. First, we have the coastal erosion. Coastal erosion is a gradual wearing away of land along the shoreline, including beaches, cliffs, and dunes. Due to the constant action of waves, currents, tides, and rising sea level. Over time, this natural process can dramatically reshape coastline. As waves crash against the shore, they loosen and carry away soil, sand, and rocks, slowly eroding the land. Human activity such as sand mining, construction too close to the shore, and removal of protective vegetation can speed up this process. The effect of coastal erosion can be severe. It can lead to loss of property, damage to infrastructure, destructions of habitats, and even displacement of communities living near the coastline. In some cases, entire village or roads must be relocated as the sea encroaches further island. Because of its serious impact, managing coastal erosion is a major concern of local government, environmental planners, and scientists, especially in areas already threatened by climate change and sea level rise. Next, we have the submersion. Submersion refers to the permanent flooding of land caused by the rising sea levels or sinking of land. Unlike temporary flooding from storms, submersion leads to areas being completely underwater for good. This can happen gradually as global sea level rise due to climate change or more rapidly when low-lying land sinks because of natural process or human activities like groundwater extraction or mining. The effects of submersion are serious and often irreversible. It can lead to the loss of valuable farmland, infrastructure, homes, and even entire coastal communities. Roads, bridge building, and irrigation system may become unusable, while displaced population may be forced to relocate. Submersion is a growing concern for island nations and delta regions around the world, highlighting the urgent need to climate adaptation, coastal management, and sustainable development planning. And the last is saltwater intrusion. Saltwater intrusion occurs when salt water from the ocean moves into and contaminates coastal freshwater resources, such as groundwater, aquifers, wells, rivers, and estuaries. This process is driven by sea level rise, which push the saltwater and freshwater boundaries island. Next is overpumping of groundwater, which lowers freshwater levels and allow denser saltwater to move in. Storm surge and tidal action, which can force saltwater into low-lying coastal aquifers and river mou- mouths. Drinking water quality wells and boreholes may become too saline, making water unsafe or unpalatable without costly treatment. Agricultural irrigation. Crops irrigate with saline water can suffer reduced yields or die, leading to the loss of food production and income. Eco- ecosystem health. Freshwater dependent plants, animals, and wetlands can be stressed or lost as salinity levels rise in rivers and estuaries. Preventing and managing saltwater intrusion is crucial for safeguarding public health, food security, and ecosystem integrity in coastal regions. Strategies include controlling groundwater extraction, restoring natural coastal buffers like mangroves, and implementing managed aquifer recharge. Now we've learned how marine and coastal processes work and how they can lead to serious hazards like erosion, flooding, and submersion. But the good news is there are many ways we can prepare to reduce and adapt to this risk. In this section, we'll explore practical strategies that individuals, communities, government can use to cope with coastal hazard, from building seawalls and planting mangroves to responsible land use and early warning system. Understanding this solution help us be, be- become more resilient and better prepared and more involved in protecting our coast and the people who live near them. Let's learn how we can take action. Practical ways of coping with coastal hazard. First is coping with coastal erosion. Coastal erosion is a natural process that gradually wears away beaches, cliffs, and shoreline structure. While it cannot be completely stopped, its impact can be reduced through responsible planning and protective measures. Here are some practical ways to cope with coastal erosion. First is avoid building too close to the shore. One of the most effective ways to prevent loss and damage is to maintain a safe distance between human structure and shoreline. Coastal zones are natural dynamic, and building too close puts properties and lives at risk. Establishing buffer zone or no building zone can reduce future costs from erosion and flooding. Next is use vegetation to stabilize the coast. Planting vegetation such as mangroves, beaches, beach grasses, and native shrubs can help hold the soil together and absorb wave energy. Mangroves are especially effective because their strong root system traps sediments, reduce erosion, and provide habitat from marine life. This is a nature-based solution that is both low cost and sustainable. And the last is construct revetments or seawalls with government consultation. In areas already at high risk, engineered solutions like revetment, seawalls, and breakwaters may be needed to protect the coastline. These structures absorb and deflect wave energy, reducing the direct impact on the shore. However, they can be expensive and may have environmental impacts. So, it is important to coordinate with local authorities and experts before construction to ensure proper design, placement, and maintenance. Now let's talk about coping with submersion. Submersion happens when lands become permanently flooded, usually due to sea level rise or land sinking. Unlike temporary flooding, submersion can make areas uninhabitable in the long term. Here are some practical ways to cope with submersion. First is relocate homes or communities to the higher ground if possible. In high-risk area, the most effective long-term solution is relocation. Moving homes, school, and even entire communities to higher and safer grounds. Help prevent loss of life and property, while relocation can be difficult and costly. It is sometimes the only sustainable option when land becomes permanently submerged. Next is build elevated structures in flood prone areas. For areas that not yet fully submerged but are prone to frequent flooding, building elevated homes and infrastructure can reduce damage. Using stilts or raised platform can help keep building safe during high tides, storm surge, or seasonal flooding. The third is following so zoning laws and avoid illegal coastal settlements. Many submersion related disasters are made worse by unregulated development. It is important to respect coastal zoning laws that identify safe and unsafe areas for building. Avoid illegal settlements near the shoreline. Not only protects lives but also support better planning and disaster response by local governments. Now let's talk about reducing human impact on coastal processes. To help prevent or lessen damage, while natural forces shape coastline, human activities often coastal hazard worse. That's why it is important for individuals and communities to make responsibility in protecting our coastal environments. Here are some practical ways to help prevent or lessen damage. First is avoid illegal land development and reclamation project near the coast. Building on fragile coastal zone with proper planning can disrupt natural process and increase the risk of erosion, flooding, and submersion. Unregulated reclamation and coastal construction destroy natural buffers like mangroves and wetlands, leaving communities more exposed to hazards. Next is practice proper waste disposal. Dumping garbage on or wastewater into the sea or coastal areas causes pollution, harms marine life, and block drainage system, leading to worse flooding during storms or high tides. Proper waste management is essential to protect both the ocean and human health. The third is follow environmental laws and local ordinance. Government regulations are in place to protect coastal ecosystem and public safety. Following rules about building codes, zoning, and protected areas help reduce environmental stress and disaster risk. Fourth is support mangrove reforestation and coastal cleanup drives. Mangroves are natural defenders against storm surge, flooding, and erosion. Participate Participating in tree planting and cleaning up efforts not only strengthen coastal resilience but also builds community awareness and cooperation. The last is avoid building structures that block natural water flow or disturb sediments balance. Walls, dikes, or roads that interfere with natural movement of water and sand can accelerate erosion and flooding in nearby areas. Coastal im- infrastructure must be carefully planned and approved to preserve natural process and reduce long-term damage. And that, let's wrap up our lesson on marine and coastal processes and their effects. Today, we explore the powerful natural forces that shape our coastline, like waves, tides, currents, sea level change, and storm surge, and how these processes can lead to serious hazards like coastal erosion, submersion, saltwater intrusion, and flooding. We also learn practical and meaningful ways to cope with this hazard, from using natural defenses like mangroves and elevated structure, to following environmental laws and supporting community effort like cleaning up drives and reforestation. As we face the growing challenge of climate change and human impact, it is more important than ever to become informed, prepared, and responsible stewards of our coastal environment. Let's continue to apply what we learn, take action in our own communities, and work together to protect our shores, not just for today, but for the future. Thank you for joining me for today's lessons. Stay safe, stay curious, and keep learning.